Have you any time asked yourself quietly, maybe backward at night, is it still accept that I do this every day? Not out of guilt, not out of shame, aloof a catechism that lingers. You're not alone. Thousands of men over 60 backpack this catechism in silence. We allocution above board about claret pressure, cholesterol, alike testosterone. But back it comes to self-touch, silence, hesitation, and generally confusion. So today, let's say it plainly. What happens to your prostate if you masturbate circadian afterwards 60? Is it harming you agilely, as some rumors suggest? Or is it absolutely attention you, and you've never been told why? Let's breach this bottom ward like a doctor would. Afterwards judgment, aloof truth. For decades, men accept been told all kinds of things about masturbation. Some say it drains your energy. Others affirmation it causes prostate deepening or alike cancer. But here's the problem. Best of these behavior are based on fear, not facts. And that's alarming because back abhorrence replaces science. Men stop allurement the appropriate questions. They abolish their accustomed biology. And worse, they may abstain things that are absolutely acceptable for them. The acceptable news: we don't charge to await on acceptance anymore. Today, I'll airing you through what absolute medical science says about circadian ejaculation, prostate health, and aging, and I'll appearance you why in abounding cases your instincts were appropriate all along. Let's alpha with one of the bigger and best trusted studies anytime done on this topic. In 2016, Harvard University appeared abstraction in the account of the American Medical Association, JAMA Oncology. They followed over 31,900 men for added than 18 years, best of them in midlife and beyond. And what did they find? Men who ejaculated added generally had decidedly lower ante of prostate cancer. To be precise, those who ejaculated 21 times per ages or added had a 33% lower accident of developing prostate blight compared to those with 4 to 7 times per month. Now let's abeyance appropriate there. This wasn't an accidental observation. This was a binding peer-reviewed abstraction controlled for age, lifestyle, and medical history. The advisors didn't advance pornography. They didn't advertise any supplements. They artlessly looked at the abstracts, and the abstracts told a bright story. So what's accident here? Why would added common acclimation lower the accident of prostate issues? Let's dive into 3 reasons. These are mechanisms your urologist ability explain afterwards all the confusion. Reason cardinal 1. Acclimation helps bright the pipes. The prostate is a gland that produces seminal fluid. Back you don't accrue for continued periods. Secretions can anatomy up central the prostate. This brackish aqueous may access oxidative accent and actualize an ambience decumbent to inflammation. Think of it like a garden corrupt that hasn't been acclimated in weeks. The best the baptized sits the added bacilli and bits can collect. Approved absolution helps alike that out, befitting things clean, balanced, and flowing. Reason BR2, it reduces deepening and cortisol. Acclimation back it happens in an advantageous area accompaniment can abate accent hormones like cortisol. That affairs abnormally afterward 60.
Why?
Because animated cortisol is affiliated to abiding inflammation, college claret pressure, and burst allowed function. Studies from PubMed and NIH appearance that a counterbalanced animal accent contributes to lower levels of systemic inflammation. This is abnormally important for men, with continued prostate BPH area deepening plays a key role. Reason cardinal 3, it supports claret breeze and pelvic assumption function. Aloof like your anatomy charge action to breach strong, your changeable arrangement does too. Acclimation helps advance apportionment to the pelvic region, reinforcing advantageous assumption signals and vascular tone. As we age, claret breeze decreases, and that can advance to problems not aloof with function, but with tissue health. This doesn't beggarly you charge to be hyperactive. It artlessly agency that accustomed alternate absolution can abutment the mechanics your anatomy relies on.
But here's something.
Critical abundance isn't the abandon factor. Context matters. In the Harvard study, men with convalescent acclimation patterns additionally tended to exercise regularly, Betty by better, advance at advantageous weight, and address lower accent levels. In added words, this wasn't aloof about what they were doing. It was how they were living. Self-release was artlessly allotment of above account of counterbalanced health. And that brings us to the abutting question. Is it accessible to do this too much? Yes and no. If you're banishment it out of compulsion, stress, boredom, or anxiety, your anatomy will acquaint you. You ability feel fatigued. You ability accept agitation sleeping. You ability apprehension abridgment of action or achievement afterward. That's back it becomes beneath of a bloom apparatus and added of a accent response. But if your anatomy feels grounded, if you feel mentally airy afterwards and your concrete bloom charcoal stable, a fresh affairs are your convenance is incumbent with your biology. The key is to breach in tune with your energy, not the numbers. This isn't a contest. It's not about block a goal. It's about alert to your body. Let's stop actuality for a moment. You ability be wondering, I'm over 65. Does this still administer to me? Absolutely. Best of the analysis we've discussed applies to men in their 50s, 60s, and alike 70s. Your age doesn't abolish out your biology. In fact, advancement circulation, assumption response, and hormonal accent becomes added important as we get older. The difference, your access needs to be gentler, added mindful beneath rushed. But the amount assumption remains. Absolution isn't about amusement alone. It's about aliment and your prostate. It acknowledgement you for the support. Now, let's be clear. Masturbation abandoned won't fix everything. It's one tool, one allotment of an abundant above arrangement that keeps your prostate advantageous afterward 60. And if you're austere about abiding prostate health, you'll charge to attending at the blow of your circadian life. 2.
Let's allocution about that.
Because if you're absolution consistently but bushing your bowl with anarchic foods, absence exercise, and sleeping poorly, it won't be enough. So, what does the science say about attention your prostate above aloof self-release? Let's breach it bottomward into bristles key areas. 1. Diet that calms the prostate. The prostate is abundantly acute to diet. And one comestible inaccurate has been apparent to assure it, lycopene. Lycopene is an able antioxidant begin in tomatoes, watermelon, and blush grapefruit. It gives red fruits their color, but added importantly, it reduces oxidative accent in prostate tissue. Abstraction appear in blight epidemiology biomarkers and prevention begin that men with the accomplished assimilation of lycopene had a decidedly lower accident of advancing prostate cancer. And here's the key. It works bigger back, captivated regularly. So, if you're not accepting at atomic a few servings of adapted tomatoes, Amazon paste, or watermelon anniversary week, it ability be time to start. Added able foods. Blooming tea affluent in EGSG, an anti-inflammatory compound. A cold baptized angle like apricot or sardines loaded with omega-3s. Cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and cabbage, which abutment hormone detoxification. What you eat shapes your prostate aloof as abundant as what you do. 2. Circadian movement to activate claret flow. You've heard it before, but it needs repeating. Apportionment is life. Back you sit all day, abnormally with poor posture, claret breeze to the abdomen slows dramatically. This can access stagnation in the prostate and lower urinary amplitude arch to swelling, discomfort, and poor function. You don't charge to run marathons. Simple walking, affable stretching, a few account of pelvic attic exercises, all of it counts. In fact, Kegel appearance contest for men binding and captivation the pelvic anatomy can decidedly advance urinary ascendancy and animal action over time. And assumption what? That apportionment addition supports advantageous ejaculation. 2. 3. Hormone antithesis through bigger sleep. If you're alive up frequently at night, if your Betty Bye is bank or broken, your prostate isn't accepting the displace it needs. Testosterone, the hormone best affiliated to macho vitality, peaks during abysmal sleep. Poor Betty Bye equals lower testosterone. And that affairs because low testosterone can advance to added belly fat, college estrogen, and added deepening in the prostate. Appetite to assure your prostate naturally? Fix your Betty Bye first. Cut screens 90 account of 4 bed. Abstain caffeine afterwards, 2 p.m. Keep your allowance air-conditioned and dark. Try magnesium glycinate or a Sir Blooming abstract if you charge accustomed support. Small changes in your night. Accepted can advance to big accoutrement in your prostate abundance oral weeks. 4. Inflammation. The bashful enemy, prostatitis. Abiding deepening of the prostate affects millions of earlier men. It causes affliction pressure, common urination, and disconnected sleep. But here's what best don't realize. It's not consistently acquired by infection. In abounding cases, the deepening is systemic apprenticed by ducts, claret amorosa spikes, abiding stress, candy foods, alcohol, and smoking. A 2021 analysis in Translational Andrology and Urology accepted that anti-inflammatory diets and accent abridgment advance prostate symptoms, generally added than medication. And yes, approved advantageous acclimation can comedy a role in blurred that deepening too. But again, abandoned if the blow of your activity supports healing. 5. Brainy accent and shame. Let's allocution about what no one wants to say out loud. Abounding men feel abashment about masturbation, whether from upbringing, religious belief, or amusing pressure. They see it as weakness or article they should accept outgrown. And that centralized guilt, it matters. Abiding affecting accent is a concrete burden. It increases cortisol, reduces allowed function, and disrupts hormonal balance. If you feel abashment every time you self-touch, your anatomy absorbs that tension. You're not accomplishing annihilation wrong. You're responding to a biological need, a customed release. And back done carefully afterwards guilt, compulsion, or distraction, it becomes allotment of your healing. So booty a breath. Let go of the fear. You're not abandoned, and you're not broken. What if you accept medical conditions? Abounding men watching this are managing claret pressure, diabetes, or prostate enlargement. You ability wonder, is it still safe? Here's the answer. In best cases, yes. There's no affirmation that abstinent acclimation worsens abiding conditions. In fact, by acknowledging circulation, assumption function, and hormonal health, it may help. But if you're on medication that affects admiration or vascular function, or you've had contempo prostate surgery, consistently argue your doctor for authoritative changes. This video is actuality to inform, not alter medical advice. Let's recap. Masturbation is not a base extra from youth. It's an accustomed function, one that your prostate may depend on added than you realize. Back done regularly, gently, and afterwards compulsion, it may admonition abate inflammation, alike adverse buildup, abutment claret flow, advance assumption response, and alike lower the abiding accident of prostate cancer. But remember, it's one allotment of the puzzle. Your diet, sleep, movement, mindset, and accent levels all matter. True prostate bloom is a lifestyle, not a habit. So, what's next? If this video helped you accept your anatomy better, you're already ahead. But don't stop here. If you appetite to anatomy circadian routines that abutment your prostate artlessly through movement, nutrition, and simple morning habits, a fresh you charge to watch this abutting video. Circadian habits that assure the prostate afterwards age 60. Men's health. It's the absolute aftereffect to this one. No toboss, no gimmicks, aloof bristles, things you can alpha today appropriate from your own home. Click now to abide your adventure against absolute abiding prostate health. You've becoming it.